Hi, welcome to Justin's Morning Coffee. All right, so we've got a great treat for us today. I had an event here in my studio space not too long ago where we invited a crowd of people over, and we had Rex McDaniel. Rex, who's been on my channel before and has been thinking about storytelling and developing a theory of storytelling for a while now. I said, why don't you come over and do a lecture? And so he did a lecture here, and that's what you're about to see. You're about to see part one, which is the first part of the lecture from the beginning to the intermission, and then I'll release part two in a little while. And we had a great time. It was a lot of fun, and I think that you guys are going to enjoy it. So without further ado, Rex McDaniel.
So I'm driving home, bringing my granddaughter home from her school from Walden right over here. And she allows that she and her friend have been writing stories about a couple of little characters they've made up. And I say, oh, how about that? What are they trying to do? And she says, oh, you know, nothing, just go around. And I said, who's bugging them? Who's their antagonist? Who are they wrestling with? Who are they struggling with? She goes, oh, no one, Boompa. They're just happy and they do things. And I say, well, then that's not a story. And she goes, yes, it is to a story. And I say, no, it's not a story. And yes, it is to a story. And I say, no, it's not a story. What do you call a square with three sides? She goes, Boompa, if it has three sides, it's not a square. That's right. And if they don't have an antagonist, it's not a story. Oh, yes, it is. And that was the end of that. We made it home. All that to say, I can be pretty dogmatic about stories, about what makes for a story. I can argue and distress my granddaughter about what is so about stories. And I'm going to do that in the first half of our time tonight. I'm going to be rather dogmatic. As I've been thinking about it, we're going to follow the science. We're going to look at what people who have dissected stories tell us. Look, they've done it. This is the deal. In the second half, it will be a matter of, more a matter of faith. It'll be religion. It'll be metaphysics. If the first half is physics or biology, the second half will be metaphysics or faith, religion. That's what I have to share. But I'm mindful that I can be dogmatic about it. And so, thinking of this experience where I went to the bottom of the Grand Canyon with a small group, and we had plugged into the trip a day at the bottom just for rest. And we made our way down there, and we got to this spot, and it just turned out to be beastly hot. It was just awful hot. And there we were, and everyone was just dragged down and languishing and laying in their tent, just hoping the day would be over. And one of our party comes into camp, and he goes, hey guys, I found a stream. Just over these rocks over here, there's a stream. We can go sit in it. I'm going to go. I just wanted you guys to know. So that's my spirit here this evening. I found a stream. I just want to tell you about it. I'm going to go back to it. And we went, those of us on that little camping thing, wow, let's go see. We found it and sat in it and were refreshed and enlivened and blessed the rest of the afternoon. So that's my spirit. It wasn't until I was coaching stories and leading a storytelling show, especially trying to think about who would I like to ask to tell a story, to be in the lineup at the show. And I would have occasion to go listen to people tell stories, and I felt like I needed to be good at knowing what made it a story. What would make it the kind of thing I'd want to invite this person to come and be part of my show for? And it turns out that there's a ton of things that we just sort of off the top of our head call stories that I'm going to say aren't. A log, 7 a.m., went to the bank, 7:10 p.m., undid the car. A report, even if it's amusing. Do you guys know the Bricklayers Report? It's been out there for years, probably hundreds of years. This, the employer wants to know, how'd you get injured anyway? And the guy says, well, you know, I finished up the bricks, I finished up the work on the 6th floor, and there was a bunch of bricks left over, and I didn't want to carry them down one by one, so I put them all in a barrel and put it on I was going to lower them on a pulley. So I pulled the barrel up and tied off the rope and went and loaded up the barrel with the bricks, and then I went down and undid the rope, but the bricks were way heavier than me. So, and I hit the barrel halfway up. That's why I have a broken shoulder. I got to the top, and it dragged my fingers into the pulley. That's why my hand's all cut up. The barrel broke, and all the bricks went everywhere. Now suddenly I was heavier. Boom! I met the barrel coming back up. That's why my legs are broken. I landed on a pile of bricks, hence the lacerations on my back. It's good fun. Well, sort of sadistic fun. It's a report. It's not a story. We have a way of, in sort of, I don't mean to say this too negatively, therapy speak. We talk about the story, his story or her story or the story I'm telling myself. And they typically aren't stories. They are expressions, they're assertions about dispositions. I'll never win. I always lose. The story I'm telling myself is that you're disrespecting me. Those aren't stories. They're assertions. And all of these things, I should say, just because they're not stories doesn't mean they're not valuable or not important. They are. Just if we're wondering about a story, these aren't. A story takes the spread and the simultaneity of life. It's just everywhere all the time, and it reduces it to a pathway. Put me in mind of cooking, right? We reduce things when we cook them and boil them down and get them down to some basic elements. We cook them so that they're nourishing. We say sometimes that people have cooked the books, that is, they falsified it. But this cooking is not to falsify, it's to make it palatable and nourishing. So we have to reduce the spread and the simultaneity of life to a pathway. So a story follows a character through this pathway and shows us how they change. A story is a presentation of how it is that someone who sets out to do something that turns out to be difficult is changed by the effort. The people who've dissected it, who've thought about it, who I trust say it takes 5 stages. that in this reducing and this cooking, when we cook something, there's both ingredients and a sequence, right? A sequence of ingredients. So the sequence of ingredients for a story. This is a book about preaching. I propose 5 basic sequential stages. This book that Justin just held up, 7 basic plots. He goes through all 7 of them. But here on page 227, again and again, our sequence of plots noted how they unfold through a basic structure consisting of 5 stages. Sean Coyne, he's a lovely teacher of storytelling here in Hollywood, and he goes even further. He calls them commandments. The 5 commandments of storytelling. And these guys would all say, oh no, Rex, you're crazy. But I would argue that all of their 5 steps, they fit, they are consistent with, they have different names with the names that I ended up giving the 5 steps in the sequence of a story that shows us someone growing, maturing, developing, learning, becoming more loving and more lovely, both. Doing this incredible alchemy of turning a stumbling block into a stepping stone. I'm in a bus in the last hours of darkness. Light is coming on. Sitting next to my son, we're on our way to go skiing. He's 13 or so. I've only been skiing a couple of times, but I'm taking this opportunity to teach him how. This is going to be a great day, great father-son day. I'll take him out and teach him how to ski. And all of us, with all of our children, hope to be important to them, to teach them, to give them experiences of deepening and strengthening and encouragement. And so I'm hoping that for this day. It's a bus full of people being taken from our suburban community up into the mountains. Light slowly comes up. He awakens, lifts his head off my shoulder. We get out of the bus, unload our rental ski equipment, go in the lodge, put it on. We step out of the lodge. The first ice he hits off the little grate there, boom, down he goes. Oh man, get him up. We make it a little further, boom, down he goes. Ooh, get him up. What are we going to do? Where are we going to learn? And we look across, and they've plowed the parking lot, and so the snow is piled up. There's a pile of snow on the edge of the parking lot. I said, well, this will be the place where we learn. Okay, so we go over there, and I teach him how to chop step sideways up to the top, and then turn around and snow plow down. And he begins to do that, and he falls. And I give him this little hack that somebody taught me when you fall. I forget exactly now, maybe some of you know, it has to do with the gravity and the balance and that sort of thing. Just align yourself this way and you'll be able to pop up. So we do that, and he pops up a couple of times. And then he falls, and he can't get up. And about this time, Bert comes by. And Bert is his frenemy, a little guy about his age. whose mom taught him to ski and who's just really confident and poised, and he's out there. And in my experience, always tends to lord it over Brian, you know, I'm cooler, better than you, and all of that. And he comes by, hey, how you guys doing? Yeah. Thanks a lot. Brian can't get up. I say, well, just do the trick. Can't do it. Come on, just do the trick. And I realize I sound like we can sound like all of our fathers have sounded at one point or another when they're just frustrated with us. And I realize I sound like my father when he'd try to have a day like this with me. I'd get seasick or poison oak or bend my finger back playing catch. He'd be irritated. Come on, just do the trick. And I see he's getting near tears now. So I get possessed of the notion somehow to lie down on the snow right next to him and test this out. So I fell down in the snow and I said, watch, you know, just do this. And I couldn't get out. It didn't work. The trick didn't work. I said, oh man, we're going to have to figure this out. Trick didn't work. So we did, and eventually got up. And he kept practicing on chopping up and going down this little hump of a snow mound and getting better and better. And here comes Bert. And Bert says, hey, Brian, come with us. And Brian says, hey, he looks at me, what do you think, Dad? Oh man, I think you're going to fall. He says, well, I can handle my falls. I said, okay then, have fun. And I didn't see him again until the end of the day. And we happened to meet at the top of the hill. Hey, how's it been going? Man, it's been going great. We've been having fun. I say, wow, that's great. How about let's do this. You go first. I'll wait about 5 minutes. And you go first. And when you fall, I'll be behind you. I can come up behind you and, you know, be with you and get you going. He says, okay, and off he goes. And in 5 minutes, I take off. And I go as fast as I can. And I can't catch him. I can't catch him. So now I'm in the bus. It's dark, but now it's gathering dark, right? Getting darker. And he's not sitting with me. He's sitting with Bert in the back of the bus, flirting with girls. So the 5 stages. The first is reality bites. We move about, we only operate by virtue of desires and beliefs. We want things. We want to end up at a different place, at a different spot, and we have beliefs about what will get us there, what the world's like, how it will respond to us as we make our approach. So we want to walk across the street. Our map says we'll walk down the hall, we get in the elevator, ride down, go out, walk across the street. We have, and our belief is when we set out that we'll do that, that we'll get there. It becomes a story if the elevator sticks between the second and third floor. It becomes a story when what we believe will get us what we want doesn't. When our map of reality turns out to be inadequate in some fashion, either not granular enough or too old, or in some fashion not up to the job of getting us what we want. And we stumble. We hit a stumbling block. We hit a wall. We fall in a hole. You can use whatever metaphor you like. But in some fashion, what's happened is that our map needs, our map doesn't work. And the film guys call this the inciting incident. It's when what we don't want or don't expect happens. And we're stuck with a map that doesn't work and don't know where we are. Where are we now? Stage 2, the hero reacts. When if it's a story-worthy stumbling block, it's going to activate our primary guidance system. Our primary guidance system is made to keep us alive. It's made to protect us and to keep us surviving. And it's made to go fast. It's made to jump to conclusions. That's what it's for. It's to protect us from snakes. What do you do when you see a snake? You jump. You jump. And our primary guidance system is made to make us jump. It wants to be right and it wants to be quick. Like, I got thinking about this. Game shows, buzz-in game shows, that's like perfect for our primary guidance, you know, boom, I want to be right and quick. And the primary guidance system is certain. It can't afford to wonder or to check it out, okay? Oh, could be snake, boom, jump. And our primary guidance system, when we stumble, says, man, the world is messed up. Danger, jump. Either get away from this or beat it up or in some fashion appease it, but do something quick because this is awful. This is just awful. The world is not right. And it kicks into gear and it makes things worse. When we react, we make things worse. The easy one to think about is, not infrequently when reality bites, when we stumble, we're mad or angry, and then we break something or throw something or curse or jump up. But it could be avoid. Avoid is a very basic one. And it just makes the situation worse. The longer we avoid it, the longer you say, oh yeah, that growth, yeah, that could be something. The longer you let it go. So the hero reacts and makes it worse. If the protagonist doesn't react, then it hasn't been a significant enough stumbling block. If you're able to handle it, oh, okay. You know, oh, the elevator sticks all the time. You know, call the guy, whatever. If this hasn't kicked in, it's not a story-worthy stumble. You already understand how to handle it, and you can handle it with your current state of development and growth. Your map can, you can easily turn it around or say, oh yeah, and get going. In storytelling, there's two ways this can go wrong. One is people are reluctant to tell it, because this is when you look bad. If you're telling a story about yourself, this is when you look bad. When you've done the dumb thing, you've made it worse. The other way it goes wrong is that people think this is really funny and cute. And they stay here. Justin mentioned going around and being part of other storytelling shows, and it's remarkable how often you hear, especially stories about getting drunk. And they just go this far, you know. She left me, and I went and got drunk. And then I got more drunk, you know. And then I threw up all over the Uber. And in fact, I'm drinking right now. I had a guy do that at one story. Pulled out. So there's two ways we can go wrong in storytelling about the hero reacting. But when we are candid about it and good humor about it, we really need to tell this story to our therapist. We'll talk about this in a second when we get down here to hero retreats. But we only need to tell this story to an audience if we've gone all the way around. If we haven't gone all the way around, getting this far just leaves the audience upset. What? It just leaves them upset. So it's important to tell to someone, but it's not valuable to tell to an audience until you've gone all the way around. Now, maybe, sometimes, it's blessed, we get some feedback. Something pierces through to us. We say, oh man, you know what? This isn't working. This isn't working. Maybe, and this is the key switch, maybe the problem isn't with the world, maybe the problem is with my map. And that makes all the difference. Wow, maybe it's my responsibility. Maybe the problem's with my map. And we begin to ask questions. The primary brain, primary guidance system, is certain and sure and incurious. Boom, go, do. The wisdom guidance system, we tune into the wisdom guidance system, and it says, in preparation for this, I came across this quote from Isaac Asimov. He says the most wonderful saying in science is not, I found it. He says the most wonderful saying in science is, that's funny. That's funny. Huh. What could be going on here? What is my part in this? And ultimately, what might I do? How might I do something creative, non-reactive, that would change this situation? How might I do something that I haven't been equipped to do before, that I haven't tried or need to try in this situation? It's often counterintuitive, but my basic illustration for this, many of you guys have heard me say this. What's your inclination when someone pulls your hair? Ouch, but usually you pull away. Someone pulls your hair and you go, ah! And what does that do? Makes it worse. A response is, boom. If you're ever in a fight and someone is pulling your hair, maybe we can plant this little seed right now. Headbutt them. You want to go. But the other simple one is, if you're in a tug of war with someone and you want them to be off balance, what do you do? Let go. Let go. So the hero retreats. The words we use for this, I was thinking about this today, it's interesting. We say we calm down or we rise above. We go both directions. What everyone says is we breathe. We breathe. Physiologically, nothing ties us into the wisdom guidance system nearly as well as just taking good deep breaths. We take a good deep breath. We begin to hear from the wisdom guidance system, and maybe a creative response to this occurs to us. A response and not a reaction. Then the hero has to respond. You have to do it. There's a real at peaceness around, oh, I see. Okay, yeah, that's what I need to do. And we're going to talk about this a little more in the second half. That's a lovely spot to be and to rest in and to be grateful for. But it doesn't mean anything if you don't do it. You got to put the response into play. If we're coaching a storyteller needs to show us the hero putting their creative response into play, trying it, risking it. This is risky. The wisdom guidance system doesn't promise. The wisdom guidance system, how about this? Yeah, let's try it. That's worth an experiment. That's worth a try. But it doesn't promise. The primary guidance system promise, yeah, do that. that'll do it. But no, try this. That'll do it. But the wisdom guidance system says, well, that is worth a try. So that we're always experimenting and at risk, and demands courage to follow through, to put it into play. And the fifth stage is reality blessing. That when we've taken responsibility and said, maybe the problem's with my map, it turns out reality wasn't trying to trip us up. It wasn't trying to hurt us. It was offering us an opportunity to revise our map. And with a revised map, it says, oof. And there's a sense of being encouraged, blessed, wind at your back, lifted, deepened, enriched. A confidence that we are indeed more loving and more lovely, and that we've turned the stumbling block into a stepping stone. It's now something we stand on and move forward from. You see the pathway? What did I want at the top of the story? What did I want and believe? Maybe audience participation is not good.
Is it a rhetorical question or?
No, yeah, no, not rhetorical.
Spend the
Just
day with your son. Have a beautiful father-son.
Yeah, have a wonderful father-son event. Be the hero. Be the teacher. End up bigger and more important in his life. How did reality bite?
Well, there was a failure in between there somewhere. There's got to be a failure somewhere, right?
Yes, yeah.
Where is that?
Well, that's where reality bit. It turned out it was a lot more difficult than I thought. He fell down a lot. And I reacted, hero reacts, started barking, doubled down, just say it louder. retreats, try something creative. When I fell down, right? Get laid down next to him. That was the idea, and then did it. And then reality, and this is, we'll get to this in the next section too, wants and desires. So I wanted to be bigger in his life. But maybe more deep down, I desired that he be bigger and stronger. And reality blessed. He's in the back, shoulder to shoulder with Bert, flirting with girls. So, I wanted to illustrate. I'm going to break in just a second. I'm tickled that some of you knew each other, and I hope there's a couple other introductions that I want to make for sure, and we'll refill our plates and get a little more beverage. On the way there, this makes it seem a lot easier than it is. In the next section, we're going to look and start with the fact, and Sean Coyne is big about this, when he says 5 stages, that you have to think about and reckon with the fact that it's fractal, which is to say all 5 stages are in every stage. Not yet. We'll do that at the break. Yeah. All 5 stages are in every stage. And that enriches and complexifies the thing. We're going to look at that when we come back and talk about Albert Gaze. So, thank you. Thank you very much. Refill your plate. Get another drink. We'll be back in about 10 minutes.